The film you're about to see, which has been made by PCS working with the Palestine Solidarity Campaign, documents a trade union delegation to Palestine and Israel that took place in June 2009. The delegation was made up of myself, Mark Sawatka, the General Secretary of PCS, Dave Watson, a Senior Policy Officer at PCS, Dave Harvey, National Executive Committee member of the National Union of Teachers, Kiri Tunks, again from the National Union of Teachers from the Gender Advisory Committee, Bernard Regan from the Palestine Solidarity Campaign, and also Tom Palmer, who is a volunteer working for the Palestine Solidarity Campaign. The reason why PCS participated in the delegation to Palestine was as a result of recent debates we've had at our conference. We wanted to show practical solidarity with the Palestinian people and see for ourselves what the situation was like on the ground. I have to say that on a personal level, I found the visit profoundly moving. The people that we met, the things that you will see in this film, hopefully will get across for you why it was a moving experience, but more importantly, why all of us should do what we can to campaign to bring a just settlement to the problems in Palestine and the Middle East. The delegation travelled across the whole of occupied West Bank, right through to East Jerusalem, Bethlehem, Hebron, Ramallah, Nablus, and we crossed the border and visited Nazareth. We talked to many people during our visit, to trade unionists, to community campaigners, workers from refugee camps, representatives of the United Nations and the Palestinian Authority, and we also visited Yad Vashem, the Holocaust Memorial Museum. Events in the Middle East, such as the conflict in Gaza, can often seem very confused from the news coverage we see in the UK. It usually doesn't present a full picture of how these conflicts have come about. It is important that we consider the facts then when viewing the current situation in the Middle East. In 1948, during the creation of the State of Israel, around 700,000 Palestinian Arabs were forcibly expelled or had to flee from their homes as a result of the actions by Israeli forces. These people became refugees. Many of them remain refugees or their descendants to this day. A ceasefire line, sometimes known as the Green Line, was eventually established around the Palestinian areas now known as the West Bank and Gaza. However, these areas were captured and occupied by Israel in 1967. This occupation continues today despite numerous UN resolutions. The past 40 years have seen the establishment of over 200 illegal Israeli settlements, housing over 500,000 illegal settlers within the occupied territories. We will see some of these in the film. Also, you will see in the film the separation barrier, or the wall. This has been built in the West Bank, surrounding and in some places annexing Palestinian land. You will often see settler-only roads which crisscross across the occupied territories, and Palestinian people face daily severe travel restrictions, impeding their ability to go to work, to get medical treatment, or even to go to school. According to United Nations resolutions, it is proposed that both a Palestinian state and an Israeli state should exist as a solution to the conflict. In this film, you will see how far away we are from getting anywhere near that objective. Got here is a house. Private citizens live in this house, and if you pan around you'll see the wall has been built right around the back of the house, annexing all the land, with cameras trained on the house constantly, and we've just been told by our guide that the people who live in the house have to ask permission of the Israeli army to even go on their own roof. So it really is a scene that does describe that the building of the wall, which has been here now for 3 years, has completely transformed where people live. And we've been told it is one of the reasons why there used to be 80 businesses in this area, now there's only 8, and the population of this area has decreased massively.
In the West Bank you have spiralling rates of unemployment and poverty, dependency on aid, and you have very few opportunities for work.
But if we were able to see it on the map, basically what Israel wants is to have a Palestinian border where you see the wall over there and leave all this area for this settlement expansion. If you look on my left there, you can see the wall and an anthem there. That's a Hargilo settlement that has 378 settlers, and Israel now is making room for 3,000 more settlers to go and live there. To live there is very cheap, and it's less than 10 minutes away of any place in West Jerusalem. All the land that's in the western side of this road is being either confiscated or taken under Israeli control, which basically means that people willing to work their land on the other side of the road, now they are being prevented from doing that. In front of us, you have this settlement and ongoing expansion. This settlement is called Gilo. It started as an outpost. That's very important to remark, because now we're talking about dismantling all outposts that were built after March 2001. It started as a military outpost in October 1968, but then in 1972 they started building houses, and now the settlement alone, completely built on land belonging to this town, to Beit Jala, has around 20,000 settlers, most of them from Russia, while this town has just 12,000 people. They were shooting from here with Kalashnikovs. A Kalashnikov has a lethal range of around 500 to 600 meters, but from here to Gilo you have 1 kilometer. So in exchange of this fire, Israel destroyed the whole neighborhood. In particular this house. This house is the only one that wasn't rebuilt. The Palestinian family here, they decided that they didn't want to get any kind of European compensation. They wanted to get money from Israel because they destroyed this house. They went to an Israeli court, they lost the case. After a while, out of depression, the owner of this house had a heart attack and passed away. We have thousands of these houses.
This place where we are now is a former military outpost that was here from 1967, and it's where many Palestinians during that period were brought and tortured and killed. And from the outhouses you can see shells would be fired at the Palestinian houses that you can see in the distance. The Israeli army withdrew from here in 2005, and the Palestinian local authorities sought permission to build a hospital on this particular facility, plus a sports stadium and a swimming pool. And as a result of that, now some far-right organisations representing settlers are now campaigning every week here to make this a further settlement place right on Palestinian land in occupied territories essentially. And so every week this is a flashpoint with right-wing settlers demanding their right to build a settlement here, and the local Palestinian population pointing out that this is Palestinian land under international law, and as a result they can't get improved facilities for the Palestinians who live around here. And this may well be a further settlement that is built.
The conditions, the facts on the ground that they're creating, like these settlements, like this road, like this wall, these in and of themselves undermine the viability of the two-state solution.
I remember on the wall I saw a piece of graffiti that said "existence is resistance," and maybe that's why they stay, because every day they're here is a day that they're kind of here to fight for their rights. And so that, although when you meet them they obviously find it very hard to live in this place, they're also absolutely determined that they're going to stay in the land that is theirs and try and fight for a better future for their children.